So going back and playing older racing games, there is one game I also never got to play back in the day, so I had to find a copy of it. That is going to be Need for Speed The Run. I gotta admit, guys, going through this entire game really was a surprise, but let me explain why that is. So we all do know that Need for Speed The Run did end up coming out in 2011, making it almost around 14 years old. And with that, it was also going to be the final game by Black Box, which is kind of insane. You really can't see different games coming out and all that, guys, and like seeing the overall like design changes and stuff in Need for Speed as time does go on. Now, a few things about Need for Speed The Run that I did want to talk about here. So first things first, we all do know you're going to start over 200 places. You have to race across the United States all the way to New York from San Francisco. This is also something I was pretty interested in because I knew for a fact that all the atmosphere changes were going to happen in this game, whether you're driving through like a really big open field, pretty much in the middle of like the Midwest, or you're going to be driving through the mountains of Colorado. Like there is going to be different atmosphere, different changes. You're not going to be driving by the ocean and stuff like that, but honestly, I feel like we can do that in other games. So I kind of did like having a different type of change that wasn't Need for Speed The Run, and with that, it really was entertaining. But there was a few things I noticed about this game. Number one, guys, I was even going to talk about this in a different video, not going to lie here. I kind of struggled with the handling when I first started, man, but let me explain why. I did understand that I was playing something like Need for Speed Carbon before this. I played Hot Pursuit, Most Wanted 2012, and even playing something like Need for Speed Pro Street back in the day. I knew this game was probably going to be different. One thing I did not even know, by the way, is this game came out after Hot Pursuit, man. Again, I never got to play this. I was playing mainly Hot Pursuit a lot, and I ended up jumping into something like Battlefield back in the day. So I did end up missing something like Need for Speed The Run. I really do think this game is pretty dang great. Now, yes, the handling on this game, guys, I do feel like people are going to be very... I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are going to like it. Some people might not like it. Do let me know your thoughts. I do admit after playing the game more, getting into it, I really did kind of like start to grow on it more. Like I did understand I had to learn it and understand the way the cars turned and stuff. Once I did get used to that, I really did find the game to be pretty dang fun once I probably got like the grip on it. I most likely even play through this game again and most likely go through it trying different cars and, you know, just trying to get better at the game itself and stuff like that. Now, I do understand people are like, no, Block, no, no, no. The handling in this game was terrible. That was like the biggest issue. But I more of the fact feel like it was different and you kind of had to jump in there knowing that you'll probably have to get used to it and you might struggle in some places. But after you do play the game a bit, I feel like it would end up getting better. One of the other things I did want to talk about here in this is going to be the police. My goodness, dude. The police in the run were honestly pretty insane. Like, if I was trying to do a race or something, which I do understand some of the areas in the game had police, you pretty much had to battle them and the racers at the same time. I do feel like the police were kind of relentless. They were using something like a Porsche Cayenne or something like that, and my goodness, bro, they were so quick. They were always right with you. Funny how Need for Speed is like that. You could be driving any car you want, and somehow the police are always right with you every time. I mean, even seeing like a GTR like you guys do see in the background is basically keeping up with me the entire time. They'll run you off the road, they'll hit you, and they can basically ruin the entire race for you. To be honest, I feel like it was pretty dang fun. Now, I do want to mention, though, I am going to talk about the story aspect of this game a bit more in the other video, to where I do talk about what made Need for Speed The Run special. I really do feel like the story of this game was actually pretty dope. Now, I do understand people are going to say the game was pretty short. I think I did end up beating the game in around 4 hours. Now, again, I wasn't trying insanely hard. I was kind of just playing through the game and messing around. Actually, it was probably like 6 hours. But I was playing through the game kind of slow and stuff like that, and it was honestly pretty quick. And I was like, yo, this game was pretty short, but I did end up enjoying it. Now, a few of the races I did want to talk about here, guys. The first one I would say in Need for Speed The Run was probably my favorite event in the entire game. I was using the Lexus LFA. You're obviously going to be in the snowy mountains, and you're going to be 1v1ing one of the opponents in the cutscene. This was honestly pretty insane because I could not believe how the entire thing was having an avalanche, and you could literally see the entire thing coming down as you were racing. There was going to be parts to where you actually had to dodge the rocks coming down and stuff and the debris and all that, and I even found myself at certain moments kind of just watching the cinematics of the entire race while trying to race and, you know, beat the other drivers driver. I was like, yo, this is crazy. All the stuff's coming down, the rocks are coming down. You see like an explosion on the mountain and stuff, and then you have to go through like a tunnel, come out the other side. It gets even crazier after that. You're going to see like trees coming down. Part of the road has rocks in it. You have to drive around it. If you drive into it, you obviously crash. But I was like, man, this is so cool. It's like a cinematic type of race. I really did enjoy this. Now, I probably did end up seeing footage of this back in the day and stuff, but I again never played the run, and I didn't think much about this, and I was playing this like, yo, this was actually real, and this is something I saw back in the day in this game. It's kind of wild. Easily one of my favorite races in the game. I also feel like they captured these snowy mountains so dang well. I do not know of another racing game that really has these snowy mountains this, like, it just looks so great. And the way the avalanche coming down, I really wish you could actually free roam the area, would be wild. But I also kind of understand why you can't, for that matter. It does really make sense why you can't kind of free roam in this game. Although I feel like if you could, guys, I would probably drive around the mountain areas a lot and just check it out. I think these snowy areas look so dang dope. And the fact that some of these cinematics in these races happen really is going to make it even more crazy. I really did also like the fact how in the final race in the game, you pretty much had to drive like under the tunnel and stuff like that. That was honestly absolutely wild. I probably failed that race more times than I'd honestly like to admit. And the reason for that is going under the tunnel, I'd sometimes not get on the wall fast enough, or I would be like, oh, look, a train, and go, oh yeah, I kind of have to get on the wall over there, and then I'd be absolutely cooked. But I really did find that kind of insane how you pretty much have to get over, not hit the train, then hit the other shortcut. If you miss something, then you are basically going to be fried, and with that, you're also racing the other driver. Even though in some ways I think the final race is going to be mildly scripted in a way, because I think at the end of it, as long as you're close to the other driver, I think it is fine, at least what I did end up noticing. But I really like how they did end up mixing in like the cinematics of this game and kind of giving it like that feeling of, oh, I am going to actually have to do something here, and there's a reason why I'm racing. And I also want to touch on that again, like the narrative or like the story aspect in the other video, because I feel like a lot of other racing games really can benefit from this, even though that we can probably agree that many players probably don't care about the story. Guys, do let me know your thoughts on that. Do y'all think racing games should go back to like a story-driven type of thing, or do you think they should keep following the same route of doing like the overall festival type of design? I am curious because it's a very interesting topic, and I do know a lot of people like it. Maybe people won't be the biggest fan of it. When I did make that one video about the Crew 1, I did notice a lot of people probably like it, but then again, they're like, well, I mean, a story-driven thing in a racing game is cool, Block, but at the same time, you beat it, then it's basically done. Most players are probably going to speed run it, then kind of move on. So I am curious to know what y'all think about it. Now, one of the other events I really liked, I believe the character's name is Mila or something. She's going to be using a yellow 370Z. My goodness, I was using the 918 RSR. This car was a bit wonky for me, I'm not going to lie. I crashed so many times driving this thing because I wasn't used to the way it handled. But again, though, I just probably have to drive the car more and get more used to it. That way I'm not going to be hitting trees or driving off the road and stuff. But I really did love the atmosphere of this race, and that's probably going to come down to me noticing like you're going to be in like a small mountain town type of thing, or you're going to see like the lake in the background. You see like the fall on the trees and the seasons. Really do love the way they did end up capturing that in so many different locations in this game, which I gotta admit is probably one of my favorite things about it. Like cruising through the game, guys, and going through the different areas, you really are probably going to be looking at the visuals going, wow, this game looks really good. And again, it isn't going to be new. This game is going to be, what, almost 14 years old or something now, and I would say the visuals hold up very well, especially with the way they did end up capturing it. Would y'all like to see something similar to how the run was again in the future? I do understand the one game I'd probably say if you're looking for a different atmosphere with all kinds of different sceneries, I would probably say the Crew 2 is going to be one of your best bets for a newer racing game. But I really feel like the way this game captured this, though, a lot of games probably wouldn't be able to do it, or at least it'd probably be fairly difficult. We all do know an open world with something like this would be insanely difficult or most likely take forever, and that's again probably going to be something like the Crew 2, which I gotta admit really did capture a lot of that very well. But when it does come to Need for Speed The Run, though, I do want to know what y'all think about this game. Have you played it recently? Are you going to? Going back in and playing a lot of these games, guys, I'm kind of getting hooked on them again. I mean, heck, I'm probably going to play through this game again just because, try different cars and try to do a bit better than I was, even go on a higher difficulty and then try out different cars that way and see maybe some cars are better than others and maybe try to mess around with different ones. One thing I did like, though, is you did have to go to the gas stations to change your vehicles, which could be done in certain races. I was looking at like the Gallardo and stuff like that, the Ford Mustang. At first, I thought I was going to have to be really fast, but I did realize the race is basically paused, and the cars are not going to keep driving and stuff like that, which is something I was a bit confused on. But hey, gotta learn and go through it and stuff like that. But I really did like when you are in that certain aspect of the races, though, you can go, you know what, let me hit this gas station, let me change my vehicle and go try something else. I thought that was pretty dope. I even ended up trying something like the GTR R35. That was pretty dope. Go against some of the AI in that and then messing with other vehicles. I wasn't driving that great because, a lot of the cars do feel a bit different. And again, I had to get used to the handling model, which I would say is a lot better for me now after playing. I'm not 100% sure if there's body kits and stuff. I think there actually is, but I really didn't get to look at them or really go, okay, well, let me go check this one out. Let me check that one out. And then, all right, let me go try some of these and stuff like that. But again, nothing a second playthrough won't end up solving. I gotta admit, guys, playing Need for Speed The Run in 2025 really was so dang fun. And it really makes me want to go back to even more of these racing games because they're just, I don't know, man. The fun factor of Need for Speed and stuff back in the day really has to be studied. And I honestly hope the next Need for Speed game, if there is going to be one, really is going to be decent because, man, if there isn't, that really is going to be such a big L on EA's part. Like, they know for a fact having a racing game or something would do very well. And right now, there's not going to be much of anything going on in the racing genre. Obviously, there's not going to be a new Need for Speed game. We have the Crew Motorfest right now. Forza's not going to get anything new until basically sometime next year, probably in the fall or something. So yeah, there is probably going to be kind of a big window where a lot of stuff isn't coming. I mean, heck, if you guys aren't going to release a new Need for Speed game, I have an idea. Bring back some other remasters of some old Need for Speeds, like bring back Most Wanted 2012. I don't know, bring Need for Speed The Run on Next Gen 2. I don't know, man, just something like that would be dope. Going back and playing these games, though, almost makes me get addicted and wants to go, okay, well, let me play more of these. So dang fun. Just the overall factor of them really does hit different. And it's kind of amazing how well a lot of these games are also really holding up. And I want to mention, guys, I did end up finding out, yes, there is going to be body kits, as I did end up putting one on my GTR. Learn something new every day, man. I'm going to have to play through the game again and find some other things out that I might have missed. But besides all of that, though, I am curious. Do let me know your thoughts on Need for Speed The Run in the comments below. I gotta admit, jumping back on this game, or I guess you could say the first time of jumping onto this game here in 2025, it still feels and looks so dang great. I gotta say it, Need for Speed The Run was awesome, and with this being the last Need for Speed of the black box era, really is kind of an odd feeling. Do let me know how many times you guys beat this game. What were some of your favorite things about it? What are some flaws? I am curious, and if I had to guess, I would probably say the handling, at least from what I have seen online anyway. And for some reason, I don't know why this is, but if you are trying to play Need for Speed The Run on the PlayStation 3, just make sure you guys have your sign-in off on PlayStation Network. I don't know if it's going to be broken. I think it's because the servers on the run are off now. So if you guys are going to be on, when I did try that, I basically couldn't load in, but once I turned it off, it seemed to work just fine.